The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Nikki done replaced Andy Cohen for the Real Housewives of Potomac. Girl, the Gorilla Girl is back with some new hair problems. And we have writer, director, and actor Jennia Fredrique on the show tonight. So go get your cocktails, get your friend, hop me up on the TV, because you're watching The Danyol Jaye Show. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your favorite, Danyol Jaye. You are watching The Danyol Jaye Show. It's another Thursday, honey, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time sharp. We are here to do the things. Let's get into this to these. Look, I watched the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion, okay? And that motherfucker was 4 parts, okay? I never wanted no 4-part fucking reunion, but parts 1, 2, and 3 was with that caucus man, Andy Cohen. And part 4 was with, Nicki Minaj. Now, I know all of the Barbs are very excited. They were very excited to see Miss Nicki on the show. I have to say this. Her segment, which literally was the whole part 4, was her and these women. And I have to say, she definitely showed that she was a fan of the show. I enjoyed some of the topics that she brought up. I enjoyed her perspective. I didn't quite enjoy the type of questioning that she went into, and I'll tell you why. Because it was real nice nasty. Now, I understand that Nicki can say things and have perspectives and take sides that Andy can't take because he's supposed to be neutral, right? He ain't supposed to take any sides for any of these bitches. But I kind of feel like Nicki was a little too shady, really kind of on the line of being cruel and rude. So when Candace's husband came out there and said, I don't like it, and everybody was trying to convince him, like, child, this is Nicki Minaj. Like, this is good for her. We gonna get her little thing out. We gonna get her song out. Like, this is good for her. I understood what the fuck Chris was saying. Like, what the fuck you not gonna do? What the fuck you not gonna... Heather! 4, girl, fucking 4. A whole 4 fuck parts, okay? But I understood Chris and his little brown dick, honey, when he said, I don't like it. I don't like you question the way that you was questioning my wife, the way that you was trying to, infer some shit. I was like, okay, come on now. Now, what did she say? When she got to Robin and Giselle and the whole them being lesbian thing, that was a reach with Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, and I wasn't here for it, okay? I was like, bitch, take your hand out the cookie jar. That is not the cookie that we're trying to get. Karen, girl, I can't. Mia, I am glad that she told Mia that Mia sounded like a fucking fool. Honey, if anytime I don't give a damn if she got on a gown, a swimsuit, if that bitch got on 2 tassels and 2 sticks on her feet for heels. I don't give a fuck. If you on the pole, bitch, if you take your clothes off for any kind of money, you a stripper, baby. You a fucking stripper. It's a strip joint. I don't give a fuck if they selling steak, nachos, chicken tenders, bitch. I don't give a fuck. They can put a lobster on your fucking plate, fully clothed, with a bow tie on that bitch. If you are on stage taking your fucking clothes off for money, bitch, you are a stripper. You're stripping. Now, of course, okay, is it entertainment? Sure. Why not? Are you entertaining? Depends on your talent. Are you an entertainer? Sure, put that fucking shit on the resume. But bitch, use a stripper. You worked in a fucking a gentleman's club. It ain't nothing but a high-cash strip joint. Shit. So the niggas is dropping 10 G's instead of $10. It don't matter. The work is the same. But anyway, I just had to say I enjoyed it, but it was too many parts, honey. It was too many parts. It was too many parts. It was too fucking many parts. Moving on. Allegedly, supposedly, in the rumor mill, Rihanna is supposed to be preggers with A$AP Rocky's baby. Now, for those of you who don't know A$AP Rocky, he was that nigga at the quilt at the Met Gala. She was in that big old poofy shit at the Met Gala. And a lot of people say she was in the big poofy shit because she was hiding the baby bump. Now, the way that this all came about was there was a person who's supposed to be in Rihanna's camp that made the statement that she's pregnant with A$AP Rocky's baby. Okay? However, okay, we the people have not been able to verify this on shit else outside that one fucking statement and that one fucking tweet. We ain't been able to verify it on her shit. We ain't been able to verify it on his shit. TMZ ain't got it. And you know if TMZ got it, then it's the God's truth. But ain't nobody got it. It's just this one little lonely ass statement that somebody just dropped in there and just said, whoop, I'm going to give it to you. Here's what I think. I think that it was a way to stir up whatever they wanted to stir up. Because here's the reality. If she is pregnant, Rihanna, hallelujah. But I'm going to tell you right now, girl, the Navy, fuck a baby. They want that album. Girl, where's the music, girl? You done been lipsticking, beauty barking, fashion doing, savage and Fenty shit. Where is the music, bitch? Okay, pawn the fucking replay, bitch. Okay, we need you back under that umbrella, Ella, girl. Where is the music? That's what the people want. You having a baby, girl, that's fine. That's cute if it's true. That's cute, it's fine. Girl, the music, okay? Music makes the boys swazy. Bitch, come together. Bring the fucking music. That's what the people want you to do. And you keep just teasing them and you keep just stabbing them in the heart because you ain't got there. So bring the shit out. We know the album is done, girl. Just release it. What you waiting on? You waiting for Jesus to come back, girl? It's going to be a while. And we need something to listen to. We need something to listen to when the apocalypse do happen. Bitch, don't you want to be the album that people play when the apocalypse is happening? Don't you want to be the soundtrack? Bring the music, girl. That's all I got to say from your fans. Okay, now this next story... it irked my nerve. It irked me real bad because at this point, and I am trying, oh my God, I am trying not to be cruel. Lord, help me. Father, I come to you right now and I'm just asking that you just help me convey this story without dragging this bitch for filth in the mighty Son of the Most High's name, amen. Tasika Brown. Some of you might know her as the Gorilla Glue Girl. The ignorant bitch, I mean, the woman who used Gorilla Glue on her hair. Cause she didn't have no fucking hairspray. She didn't have no hair glue. She had ran out and she figured, you know, what the fuck? Gorilla Glue, hair glue, the shit is the same as glue. And so she put the shit in her head and slicked down her edges and had her little fake ponytail and shit. Honey, but when she went to go scrub it up, dub that shit out, Gorilla said, nah, it ain't gonna happen. It's not happening today. Well, and we went through the whole thing online with her. We were, oh my God, how could she? You know, some of us was like, bitch, you're stupid because Gorilla Glue says on the label, bitch, not for certain you. It tells you what the fuck it was for. But that's neither here nor there. She's back on social media with another hair problem. Apparently, she went and dyed her hair brown. I don't know why she picked that color, but she dyed it. And what happened was she put all these harsh chemicals, another set of harsh chemicals, in her hair, and she let the people know that her hair is fucking falling out. Her hair is fucking falling out in patches. That's what this bitch said in her statement. It's falling out in patches, and she just don't know what to do with it. Now, Jessica, that first go around, honey, you had people sending you money. You had people sending you wigs. You had people sending you all types of free shit. And I just don't know how to put down in my system, honey, that this ain't some bullshit because you need some more money. I don't know what type of help you think you're going to get this. Go around, girl. After I've had my hair glued the fuck down with Gorilla Glue spray, I wouldn't put nothing in my shit but cocoa butter and Pantene Pro V, bitch. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. What made you think that it was a good idea to put anything in your fucking scalp other than coconut oil and shampoo and conditioner? What the fuck, girl? You dye in your head. You know, I think it's time that we have to go to. I think it's a commercial at this point. I really do, because if I talk about this bitch too long, it's gonna piss me off. Tasika, girl, take your hair problems off the internet, honey, because you're making yourself look foolish, and you got kids. Think about your children, okay? Don't be no fucking fool in front of your kids on Cicely Tyson's internet. That's just, it's bad. But look here, when we come back, we have writer, director, actor, producer, the amazing, the phenomenal Jennia Fredrique is here with an interview. He talked about her latest film projects. We talked about her life, her family. All of that is coming up next. So go refill your cocktails, get comfortable, because you're watching the Danyol Jaye Show. Now we gotta go pay some bills. I'll be back.
Are you in need of a quick and easy way to know your HIV status? Swab and Chill is a discreet way to learn your status in the comfort of your own home. The process gives you results in 20 minutes. Swab the upper gums, swab the lower gums, and voila! Simply follow the colorful step-by-step instructions located inside the kit. Or call APLA and we can assist you virtually. In addition, all kits include condoms and lube for that penetrative fun. For our trans clients, we have Swab and Chill Plus, a customizable kit for trans-specific needs. And we haven't forgotten about COVID either. All kits include personal protection gear, like face masks, comfortable yet stylish, a personal touch tool for dealing with those germ-infested handles and ATM keypads, wet wipes for those little messes that need cleaning up. Also, keep that summer body protected with Swab and Chill sunscreen. And don't forget about our fanny packs for those quick trips to the store. All this can be yours. Simply call Swab and Chill at 323-329-9713 or email us at swabandchill@apla.org. We would love for you to be part of our Swab and Chill family.
Come swab and chill with us! We are back with the Danyol Jaye Show. I know some of you are asking, like, what's with the Swab and Chill? The reason why we chose to play that commercial for this particular show is because in speaking with Jennia Fredrique, who was born in Gary, Indiana, and has studied filmmaking at Columbia University. Jennia has made a name for herself as a successful writer, director, and producer, and her film 90 Days garnered her much recognition and awards as it tackles the stigma of those living with and affected by HIV. And being that we did talk about this for the bulk of our interview because it's such an important story, it's such an important issue and cause, I wanted to make sure that the Danyol Jaye Show viewers, my pudding crew out there, that you guys have access and understand that if you are within the Los Angeles County area, that these resources are available to you. I sat with Jennia a little earlier on to do this interview. She could not be here with us live because the girl is booked and busy, okay? And we give it to her. But along with her husband and business partner, Aponte, who's fine as hell, they have created a Full Frequency Media. Full Frequency Media is their production company, which has created content for Amazon Prime, Revolt TV, and Oprah's Own, okay? Hello. I first saw Jennia as an actress on a very successful show called Noah's Ark, which was a launching ship show for LGBTQIA plus representation on mainstream television. And she played Paramount producer Brandy King. Well, here's a look at our conversation as we talk about her business, her career, her family, and so much more. Enjoy. Jennia, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm very excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and I love what you're doing. So I'm honored.
Oh my God. Okay. Blushing is not a part of the gig. Okay. You don't, I paid her $20, y'all. I paid her $20 to say that. You look gorgeous as always. But I want to jump right into this interview because you are all over the map of as far as your talent, what you do, what your hands are on, and what you have done. And I want to know, how did you get started in entertainment? Like, was entertainment always the goal? Did you fumble upon it? How did you get into this business?
I grew up, I actually started as a kid. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and I started speaking as a little girl. I was an orator, and I spoke all over the city. I started at my church. I grew up going to a Pentecostal church. Okay. And when I tell you, the Black church, they are such cheerleaders. They gave me.
Go ahead, baby. It's all right. Let God use you. Let God use you.
They gave me the church will give you a confidence whether you deserve it or not. You know what I mean? Up there struggling, they like, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Yes, you got it. Anyway.
You got
it. I grew up speaking and I always wanted to be in entertainment. And I really started solidly as a teenager coming out here. And I did the last season of City Guys, and I did a few episodes of things like My Wife and Kids, and I did a million commercials that was able to, thank God, really pay the bills while I pursued the theatrical side. And eventually I just, my eye was always on the directors, and I was always writing. So it was kind of like an easy dance to get behind that camera. A scary one, because when I walked away from acting solidly, I had just done a huge ABC pilot with Whoopi Goldberg. And yeah, it was a dream of mine. And I just remember like being on, getting because it was multicam. My favorite is comedy. It was multicam and the audience was cheering, and I'm standing next to Whoopi Goldberg. And I was just thinking like, wow, I loved shooting my little independent film more than this. And I cannot tell you how terrifying that was, to be honest with myself, because acting was the goal before I could spell it,
I think it's amazing how, as we go from like childhood to teenhood, adulthood, the road and the journey always changes, right? We think that we're going to be something. Like, I remember being a good 7 years old thinking by the time I hit 30, child will be all around the world winning Grammys and Tonys and being on Broadway. I'm just going to be the bee's knees, right, child? At 36, that is not where I am. But the journey itself has been wonderful. And the one thing that I can honestly say about you in observing you, watching you, being around you, is that your energy is such that you are a person that has learned to enjoy the journey. And I love that about you.
Thank you.
What has that been like for you to go through life having one idea of what you wanted to do and then having to kind of shift and change as you get older and as people and things are added and subtracted to the journey?
It's a good journey, right? But to say that it's been, I would be lying if I said it was easy or that there weren't times that, there were moments that brought me to my knees. But I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and if you grow up in the hood, there's not a lot of people chasing dreams. It was get a job, telling people you want to act. Besides my parents, who it was there were two people that were like, girl, do whatever you want, but you still send your children out into a world that, honey, they were like, what are you talking about? There's no way. It's not going to happen for you. Like, because there's an energy in, I think, every hood in America that feels there's just a cloud over these inner cities that make you feel like you can't pursue your dream. And there has to be, and I'm sure you can identify with this because I recognized your star power from the moment I met you, and I hadn't even seen you on any form of just how far you've come now. There has to be an inner knowing, regardless of the constant rejection that you face. You have to be your own hero, so
Right.
to speak. Yeah.
One of the places the first place that I remember seeing Jennia, is a role that you had on a project that, in my opinion, changed the landscape of representation. And it was a wonderful little successful show on Logo called Noah's Ark, where you played a Paramount producer by the name of Brandy King. Now, I remember watching Noah's Ark, and I remember thinking, as a gay little boy in my mama's house, thinking if she caught me watching this, I was getting in trouble. But I remember thinking, I have never seen Black LGBTQIA representation in stories on cable TV. It had not been done. What was it like for you getting that opportunity? How did that opportunity come to you?
Well, I don't believe in accidents. I don't believe in coincidences. I'm a firm believer of gay rights. Some of my best and closest friends, both alive and not, are a part of the gay community. I was friends with Rodney Chester at the time, and he was telling me, he was like, my friend Patrick is doing this show, and girl, you should be in it. You should, whatever. And at the time, Patrick had no money for it. And I was doing really well. I was making a lot of money working. And as soon as Rodney told me about it, I felt compelled. I was like, oh my God, absolutely. And Patrick, he is not like, oh yes, girl, you got the job. I had to send a reel, and honey, look, he wasn't, he saw his
He put you through all the things. He said, look,
honey, listen, and I did. And I didn't, at first I didn't realize the impact a show like that had. Because I would always call myself, while we were shooting, I called myself the dog in the zoo. And the reason
Well, what was that about?
you know what? Because everybody loves dogs, right? Everybody loves dogs. But if you saw a dog in the zoo, you'd be like, what the hell is a damn dog doing here? I came to see the zebras and I came to see the giraffes. So the boys in the show were I was the dog in the zoo. Like the attraction was Daryl and Rodney, and you know what I mean? So it was such an honor. It's still a job that I feel like is not finished. And I still get DMs every single day. And it just warms my heart so much, because I know that it showed little boys in any small town what life could be, what feeling supported could feel like, because Noah had friends that became family in a world that, unfortunately, and I'm glad things are shifting, but I knew so many people that were disowned, that were that even died because how they were born was deemed wrong. And
now, as a filmmaker yourself, as a person with voice, as a person who you capture the story, you are writing these narratives, you are filming these narratives, you are capturing moments on screen. What is your hope for the future of Black LGBTQIA stories in film and television? Do you feel like we will ever get to a space where that representation is kind of solidified in film and television, or do you think we have a really long way to go?
I think both. I think the community has a long way to go, because when the film industry first started, there were rules, very anti-gay rules. Like if there was, and you can find these rules online, I'm not making it up. If there was gay representation or queer representation in any form, any film, back in the day, they had to have been represented as a psychopath, deranged. So it was, which helps perpetuate the stigma, in the same way that Black stories, we had to be depicted as ignorant or
druggies and thugs,
subpar, so there's strong stereotypes that we're still working to catch up to. I'm so happy. I haven't seen the film yet, but my really good friend Jussie, I don't know if you have seen the trailer for B-Boy Blues, but baby,
no, I have not.
Oh my God, you have to see it. It looks like a gorgeous story, and it's while it's about gay Black men, it's about love, and that's what's important. We have to tell more stories that show us in the truth. We want love. We want, you know what I mean? We want all the same things. We want a piece of the pie. We want, every desire that we have is it's everyone has them, because it goes back to heart.
I can, every time I'm in your presence, and for those of you who are watching this, if you've ever met Jennia, if you've ever been in her presence, and her husband the same way, there is something about you that just envelops the space with warmth and understanding and love and compassion. And one of my fan out moments about who you are as a person is your ability to want to understand and connect. You may not necessarily understand the experience, but you want to understand as much as you can to help whatever it is that you're working on. And that was very evident in a film that you worked on back in 2017 that won you quite a few awards, won you major recognition in the filmmaking industry and in the film festival arena. And it was a film called 90 Days. And it was a film that tackled the stigma of, number one, being Black, but being with someone who is living and or affected by HIV. Now, outside of this show, I work in the HIV prevention field. I do a lot of advocacy work for HIV. And I don't think that I've ever come across a film, a documentary, or really any major project that has really tackled this subject the way that you approached it, the way that you came to it. And it's funny, you did the film with Nathan Hale Williams, which by the time this episode airs, he would have been on this show. I will have interviewed him by the time this airs. So I thought, small world, but it's wonderful. How did that film come to be for you?
Wow. I had the honor of, well, thank you for what you said. I do.
All true, I promise.
Thank you. A part of, I think, what's important for the human experience is empathy and understanding. Just because you don't go through something, just because it's not your reality, doesn't mean it's not something you should try your best to seek some form of understanding or empathy. And I think the role of a filmmaker is so incredibly important because of the power it has to change minds, right? And the example I always use is the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. You walk out of that film and guess who you feel sorry for? The damn Joker. The shit you saw in comic books your whole life. You saw him in Batman. And you was like, kill him, hurry up, but you, through story, through backstory. And that is something that my people lack in multitude, is our backstory. Because with backstory is the reason why a white boy is taken away peacefully in cuffs after he guns down people in a church. The lack of backstory is why a young boy is gunned down in the street for putting his hand in his pocket and all he got is some candy. So because the stigma is in front of us, such negative stigma is in front of us, our job as filmmakers is to tell these stories in a way that you want to understand where this person might be coming from. And the story around HIV is no different. Nathan had seen my film Sacred Heart that shot in Paris, and I was in a space where I wanted to see if I could direct someone else's words. Mm-hmm. And Nathan called me and said, I'm writing this script about a woman with HIV. I want you to read it. And I read it, and we played around with the story, and I was like, oh my God, I want to direct it. And he was like, but girl, I'm gonna direct it. I was like, oh my God, please. And we went back and forth. And finally he said, okay, we could direct it together. And I was like, thank you. But it was so much fun because I got to also production design for it and costume design. As a filmmaker, I get to flex all of my muscles. I'm a visual artist. So to get to play in that world is so exciting. And to tell a story about a woman who, I just feel like none of us, if you're alive and well, bless your heart, but, hardly any of the sexually active have been safe 100% of the time.
One of the things about the film that I found interesting is the angle at which the story is told. Now, when we think about HIV, we think most of the world automatically assumes gay men. They think, You know, you're out here being hoish, you're out here just sleeping around, you know, maybe you're doing drugs, but for the most part, the narrative in society is HIV, gay man. If you're not a gay man, it don't affect you, it don't touch you. This story is about a heterosexual Black woman who is dating, meets someone that she, you know, begins to love and have feelings for, who is played by a friend of mine, Nick Few. Shout out to Nick. Hey, Nick, you look amazing. And she has to divulge this information. Prior to this film, prior to you getting the script, what was your understanding of HIV? What was your experience surrounding that topic?
I was one of the lucky ones because I got to work with the Black AIDS Institute for a lot of years because of their involvement with Noah's Ark. And then they were deeply involved in, I don't know if you got to see The Skinny, Patrick's film. I played a lesbian in The Skinny. So we got to tour the country and talk to people everywhere about their experiences with HIV. And I knew before stepping into this project that I love to this day, I knew how Black women were affected by HIV and AIDS. So I was lucky enough to have a really, you know, just a lot of education around it, and was honored that I got to wake a lot of people up, because with 90 days went around the world. Right. And we had so many talks and so many, you know, after each screening, there were so many people that said, you know what, I didn't know this, or I understand my friend better, or I'm a Black woman with HIV, or, you know what I mean? So I got to see so many people say that and experience that or learn from it. And there were still some stigmas. Like, I remember I was sitting next to a guy and he was almost shouting out, this happened because she was a hoe. And, you know, I was devastated. I'm like,
but that's the narrative, and I think that's the stigma that this movie really addresses. And if you are interested in purchasing or renting the movie, you can go to 90days.vhx.tv. You can rent it there. You can purchase it there. I recommend that you watch it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back with Jennia, we're going to continue our conversation regarding her career, her filmmaking, and also her beautiful and amazing family that helps her do what it is that she does. All that and more right here on The Danyol Jaye Show. What's going on, everybody? You are watching The Danyol Jaye Show. I hope you are enjoying the interview that I had with Jennia. We're going to jump right into the next segment as we dig deeper into her family life and just her overall career. So stay tuned because she's amazing. Here you go. family that helps her do what it is that she does. All that and more right here on the
And I'm constantly learning shit. I'm constantly trying to figure things out. I'm constantly apologizing. I'm constantly like, it is all three are definite gigs, but our kids, like our youngest two, they grew up on set, and they're our daughters at NYU studying film, and our son, he goes to the #1 art school in the country, and in a high school, #1 arts high school. And he's studying cinema too, but he grew up slating our pictures, and you know what I mean, like being on set with us. So it's a natural progression, and I feel honored. I feel like, wow, we're really, it's a family business, you know.
Jennia, let me ask you this about, because you just mentioned your daughter's at NYU, and congratulations to her. I saw the post where you said she got a full scholarship to go. Fellow filmmaker in the making, no pun intended. How does it make you feel to know that you have children that have lived this life with you, watched you, and so do what it is that you guys do, and say to themselves, I want to do that too?
Ooh, it was easier with my daughter Shaman, because she wanted to be, it was almost always behind the camera for her. And of you know, I thought that was great. Oh my God, another Black female filmmaker. That's awesome. But for my son, the baby, it was harder for me, because he wanted to, it started off as acting. And he was so cute and so spunky and so gregarious and had such a big personality that, you know, people would come to him and say, oh my God, you should do this. And I would be like, no. I would always say, you could do it when your ass turns 18, and there's no ceiling to acting. You can act until you're older than Cicely Tyson. But he ended up playing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm serious. And
you're not lying.
He was like 5 years old, and my son is highly intelligent, but we were walking past the set, and he was so cute. And this guy on set, I don't know what his job was, but he looked at Jennis and was like, oh my God, he should be on camera. And he said, yeah, I want to, but she won't let me. And I was like,
like, not in public now, wait a minute.
Right. But he changed my whole world, because one day he said to me, we were all in the car, all four of us were in the car going to a friend's house, and Shaman said, did you guys know what you wanted to be when you were kids? You know, because I'm not sure, and is that okay? And we're like, of course it's okay. And Jennis's little 7-year-old butt was like, not me. I know what I want to do. I want to be an actor. Do you know, that day I get a call, my friend Jussie called me. He was on the set of Empire, told me they're having trouble finding the little boy. This is on a Sunday too, when in my mind, the phone doesn't ring. This is how God works. He called me on a Sunday and said, Jennia, we're having a hard time finding this little boy. You know, would you be interested in him reading for it? And I was like, Jussie, I can't even believe this shit. You're not gonna believe this. The boy just declared it a couple of minutes ago. So I called him inside from outside playing, and I was like, Jennis, I can't believe you got this call. Would you want to audition for it? And he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And I was like, but you have to play good to your mother. That's what the kids call being gay. They call it good to your mother. And I said, but you have to play good to your mother. Are you comfortable with that? He was like, oh my God, yeah. When I did a school play, I played a pirate, and I'm not a pirate. So yeah, you know, whatever. Totally just so, just an amazing spirit. And I thought it's no accident that my son ends up playing the first gay Black boy in television history on Empire. And he's, you know, he read for it the next day. He was incredible. And I knew,
I'm sure he would be like,
oh my God, you don't understand. When he when we did it was a very serious role. He's playing opposite Taraji and Terrence Howard. And we did the scene and his little ass smoked it. And I was like, I got so nervous after we were about to send the tape because I was like, oh my God, what is this? This is gonna be like, he's gonna book it, like, you know. And I had been telling, I had to step out of the way because I said, God, you're in control, clearly. And that day we sent in the tape. Jussie got it over to Lee Daniels. Lee Daniels told him we already hired a little boy. Jussie said, well, watch the tape anyway. Janice was so good. They got into it with Lee, argued with Fox. They had to pay the little boy they hired, and we won a plane that night. And his role, USA Today called it one of the most prolific scenes because he was thrown in the trash by Terrence. And it was the most amazing experience, but it just taught me that, one, your children are not your own. Two, sometimes you got to get out the goddamn way. Oh my God. And that I'm still trying to learn that. And three, just, work on the goal is to be more allowing in terms of what your children's dreams are, because they can unfold in the most beautiful way. And, I could go on and on, but
one of the things that you said that I is my prayer for parents everywhere is understanding that you don't own your children, that these are little humans that are on a loan to you to make sure that you are able to give them everything that they need to grow into who they're going to grow into.
Can I talk about you for 1 second, though? I know.
No, that's not what this is for. Wait a minute, no.
Please, can I just say something about you? Okay, y'all. So I met Daniel a few years ago, and he was so fucking cute and so fly and so just, I just felt his vibe from across the room. I'm a vibes person. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know who he is, but I want to be his friend. Like, he is so fly to me. So we met, we talked, we exchanged whatever. And then I started to see him on Instagram. And this was like in the beginning, like you had a small following, but your wit, your charisma, your everything. I was like, oh my God, he's such a fucking star. And so then I wrote this film, and I originally wrote this film for a woman, a female reporter. And I was like, I want Daniel to play this role. And we're still like, the script has just resurfaced again because, sometimes it takes projects a long time to get off the ground. But you are still so in my head. I'm still so looking forward to, if it's not this, I'm so looking forward to working with you because, y'all, we did a table read. And I knew, and his role is all throughout he's really a through line throughout this whole script. And I knew he was going to smoke the shit out of this role. And he did. I was like, just feel free to play with, and I'm talking about your level of professionalism was like you had been in the business for 1 billion years, honey. And the way you smoked the role like you were on camera, like you were so ready. And I'm just, it was such an honor, and I just want to thank you again, and just know that your talent is just it's you are here in my mind, and I can't wait to work with you. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so just so that y'all know, I am still working out how to receive those types. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm still working out how to receive those things because the journey to me is still ongoing. And so to hear those things from people such as yourself, it speaks to a place that is still under construction. So I definitely appreciate you for that. But back to you, because that's what this show is about. This episode is about you, not I. In all that you do, in all that you've experienced, what has been the most challenging obstacle for you to face and or overcome?
Ooh. I would say love, because I found my husband and I, we knew in the beginning that we had both found our person. Like, we knew that we were right for each other, and we didn't come to each other clean. You know what I mean? Like, he had kids, I had a son. Like, we didn't come, there were so many obstacles to surmount from the outside world and within ourselves, because we enter relationships with filters. We enter the relationships with baggage. It could be your first love. You have baggage from your damn parents. You have baggage from the shit you saw, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we knew that, but we were so rooted in our spiritual walk and so committed to figuring it out. So, you know, it was like our love, we kept it almost insulated. So it has been, oh my God, it's been so wonderful and so difficult. Like, we were just talking the other day, like, damn, we made it through some shit, you know, honey, everything from baby mama drama to, you know, just so many things. And
just life all together.
Just life. And we work together, but our love and our passion for each other is still so strong. And I was just like, damn, I'm like, this shit still feels good and new, you know? And I knew enough to know, I read incessantly, but I knew enough to know that there are people that are like fucking two hurricanes crashing into each other. Like, I was just watching Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, like, they were the great loves of each other's lives, but there was so much of
turmoil and craziness.
And you can fuck it up with your person. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you can be so in love, and you can still fuck it up. So, you know, to meet your person, like, it's been constant work, but so worth it, and it feels so good to know. And we, you know, in our relationship, I think the main thing that keeps us so rooted, grounded, connected, and in love is you don't get to blame each other for shit. Like, all of my issues are my issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't blame me for shit. I don't blame him for shit. Like, we're working on our own shit. And when we come together, that shit is bomb AF, because we're both doing the work. It's not like, you did this, no, you did that. Like, we're not even, ain't nobody playing them games. But we're both on deep spiritual walks. So it really helps. But that's been and continues to be our, you know, a challenge, but in the best way, the same way it is, you know, like, you know, with diet and working out. That shit ain't easy, because burgers taste way better than these damn alfalfa sprouts and kale salad. But
I ain't gonna lie, look, I've been trying to do better, but you ain't never lied. A burger actually does taste much better than alfalfa sprout salad. And it's funny, I forget what I was watching. I was listening to a nutritionist. She's a personal trainer, and she said, I don't like to use the word diet with my clients. She said, you're on a live it. She said, you are on a live it. You are navigating your health, your nutrition. She said, this is not a diet, this is a live it. And that's what you have to do. You have to live it every day. And I just thought that was powerful to me, because it spoke to me.
Well, and in addition to that, especially in any relationship, that diet has to be also a deep, deep, deep mental diet. What you tell yourself, how are you treating yourself? Because if you're, like my diet is more like, or my livid is more like an 80-20. 80% of the time I'm eating healthy as hell, but there are times where I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna have those French fries, or I'm gonna eat whatever. But we have to be aware of our mental diet. That's that can be more toxic, or the best thing, it tops everything.
Well, Jennia, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. It has been a pleasure. We definitely have to bring you back, because if I know anything about you, you always got one in the chamber. You always working on something that we can talk about. But before we go, let people know where they can find you and what projects you have coming up that we need to be looking out for.
Thanks. So everybody can find me on Instagram. That's really the only form of social media that I'm on. And it's my name, Jennia Fredrique, just Jennia Fredrique, on Instagram. Right now, in addition to shooting 2 feature films coming up that I'll be directing and writing, my husband and I are right now we're in production. We're shooting a feature length documentary for Black art. We did a docu-series for Diddy's network for Revolt that did really, really well. And one of those, one of the docs in the series was about art. But it was a half an hour long, and now we're doing a feature length for it because the world of Black art is exploding. So we're doing that, and I'm so excited about it. So excited.
Well, again, I want to thank you so much. For my viewers, you stay tuned, because coming up next, we have Hey Puddin', and you are not going to want to miss this right here on The Danyol Jaye Show. Child, I know we're going over, but you'll forgive me because you love me. How about that? Wasn't Jennia amazing? I love her. That interview was so amazing. And I just, again, want to thank Jennia Fredrique Aponte for sitting with me and talking with me and sharing with me. It was absolutely amazing. Today's Hey Puddin' is really comes from an experience, from a conversation that I had on the drive home today. And the topic is, don't sabotage what you've been asking for. Many of us have dealt with traumas. Many of us have dealt with betrayals and hurts and pains that have caused us to create fortresses in our lives. And we create these fortresses, and sometimes these fortresses look like distance. Sometimes these fortresses look like smiles and a big personality, to hide the hurt, to hide the pain, to hide the fact that we gave someone the keys to our throne room and they decided to burn the fucking kingdom down. But unfortunately, part of life is experiencing a little bit of hurt so that we can understand, acknowledge, recognize what real love, what real compassion, what real understanding, what real patience really looks like in our lives. And unfortunately, because we've been hurt, because we've been damaged, we will sabotage the very thing and or the very person that we've been praying walk into our lives. We will sabotage the very opportunity that we've been praying comes into our lives. So I want to leave this with you. Do the work that you need to do to both heal and grow. Put yourself in situations that force you to be vulnerable, that force you to open up yourself and stretch yourself beyond that line of comfort. Because just beyond that line of comfort lies the blessing that you've been wishing and praying and hoping for. Do not let the inner saboteur knock you into a space that never gets you the dream of what it is that you've wanted in your life. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's show. Make sure that you tune in next week, because next week we are doing another Throwback Thursday review. We're taking it to reality TV, honey, and I got lots to talk about, okay? And as always, you are marvelous. You are magnificent. You are awesome and amazing in every possible single solitary way. But if you so choose to be mean, malicious, and cruel, do that shit in the room by yourself and don't send no fucking invites. Until next show, I'm your host, Danyol Jaye, and you've been watching The Danyol Jaye Show.